It's Halloween. If it's not, this homeowner is extremely lazy when it comes to putting his decorations away. Screaming and eerie sounds are heard inside a house, and the inside is revealed to be straight-up horror. Blood is everywhere and places are bashed up. A woman lies bleeding on the floor, and a man is floating near the ceiling. He falls, and there's a girl sitting, just watching. Shame there's no popcorn to really appreciate the show. With police on the scene, everything seems well in hand, except the girl's not crying or hysterical like she should be. When she sports some black eyes, it's pretty obvious we're going full-on exorcist. John wakes up, and lo and behold, John slips out the back door. Chaz is rather insistent John get some work done, and he will run straight to Birmingham, Alabama, just as soon as he finishes breakfast. They divide and conquer at the scene of parental abuse, and John runs straight into Manny when he finds the scene of the crime. You know, I didn't really miss Manny last time. He wants battle plans, and yet again dodges around John's questions. Using a rather cool Mayan reconstruction style, John confirms what we already knew. The girl is possessed. Meanwhile, in another house, a paranoid boy named Henry seeks comfort from his parents. Or rather, his mother Claire, since his father Daryl is a jerk. A well-meaning one, but still a jerk. Entity vision kicks in and opens a door. Scary. Appearing in curtains as a dark figure is a step up, though. The boy screams, and the next time we see him, Henry's acting much different. Possession number 2. John collects a favor from a social services worker to get the backstory on the formerly possessed girl, Emily. She's out of reach, though, but John knows he can reach one of the children from a past case. One Marcello Panetti, to be exact. In his 40s now, he now resides in a mental hospital. Marcello's not had a happy childhood, and it reflects in the state of his mind. He's catatonic and, missing 3 fingers. Henry's father, Daryl, hears a bump in the night and goes to investigate. I like horror as much as the next person, but seriously, why did he not bring a weapon? Granted, a tapping light bulb against the floor isn't really scary, but the principle still applies. Holy foot wound! If Daryl does not suspect something is up with his son at this point, he needs to wise up. John realizes the spirit's attacks are following a ley line and knows where to look for the entity next. John searches in his magic mill for something to use against the spirit, and Chaz finds a truth sword. We find out what he really thinks of John, and that he had a wife, Renee, who walked out on him. Unsurprisingly, Chad does not want to talk about it further. So much for that bromance moment. John finds the mystical gadget he needs, and we check in on Henry, who's going to carve pumpkins with his mother, Claire. When she leaves to retrieve markers, she comes back to find Henry has gone all psycho on the pumpkins. What a waste! I'm a pumpkin fiend, and it hurts me to see them treated so roughly. John uses his supernatural sensor and finds the house where Henry resides. Opting not to be honest with the parents in an amusing bit with Chaz, John decides to wait and see what happens. A case of bullying reverses itself, and Henry's parents confront him about it. It could have gone rather badly had John not appeared masquerading as the school counselor. Wielding a mandrake root, like every other rough butch hero out there, John tries to convince the parents that Henry's possessed. He lands himself in jail instead. Should have really boosted that pitch up. Manny appears to give John a pep talk, disappearing just when John goes to respawn. Like usual. At home, Henry freaks out upon hearing his parents fight, and Claire finally clues into the fact her son isn't alright. She bails out John, and he tells her like it is. She agrees to help him perform a seance to find out the identity of the spirit. At Marcella's house, the seance doesn't go as planned, and John realizes it's not a demon that's possessing Henry, but a human one that's gone rotten. He needs to perform an exorcism, but he's a bit gun-shy about doing one after Astra. I don't blame you there. With Henry all set to go out trick-or-treating, John confronts him and ends up following him to a haunted maze attraction. John's a wee bit jumpy in the maze to comic effect. Armed with an axe, Henry attacks John repeatedly. Psychotic character with an axe in a maze. Did we wander into The Shining when I wasn't looking? Naming the spirit as Marcello Panetti, John is able to cast him out of Henry, and belatedly relates that Marcello's spirit was of the living, not the dead, and now it's right where it belongs, back in Marcello. This is the first time Constantine has tackled human possession, and they're able to put their own twist on it. Rather than the usual demon, it's instead the spirit of a human that's going around making kids kill their parents. It reminds me of an episode in the first season of Angel where a boy had gone evil, making the demon look like a cakewalk. I like that John's past history regarding exorcisms makes him hesitate. It's clear the writers are paying attention to his character and what makes John tick. I also have to commend them avoiding the usual reading from the Bible and holy water exorcism. John's version is short and sweet. By doing that, we're able to spend more time developing Henry and his parents. Sed's MIA this episode off doing classes. She wasn't really needed, so it was smart to omit the character. I have to wonder if this episode was taped earlier than others since it's set during Halloween and still has John's narration, a leftover from earlier episodes. It would have been great to watch this on Halloween with the spooky atmosphere. I think it's a great story with tight writing, so I give it 5 out of 5. Bring on the next.